Man, isn't the internet amazing? Is something you'll hear other people say. People say to me that they think the internet's brilliant because of communication is a big one. Oh, it's amazing. I used to think that that was a good thing. I remember once I left the house, I was meeting a friend of mine and we'd arranged to meet at this time at the train station. So I left my phone at home, thought, oh, all I'm doing is picking them up, going for a walk, going home. Don't need my phone for that. I'm not going to be interrupted, I'm going to spend time with this person. So I left my phone at home and I get there and they're not there. And I wait there for 20-ish minutes, maybe half an hour, and they just don't turn up. So then I just have to go home. When I get home, I find that there's actually quite a few messages from them on my phone saying, I'm really late, I'm really sorry, I'm going to be so late. I text them when I get home and go, oh, I can come now, I've just got home. And they go, oh, I've left now because I got here and you weren't here and I assumed you didn't want to wait. Now I've gone home. We just didn't see each other that day. Thank goodness for my phone so that I knew why that had happened. That I didn't have to go home and just wait for a letter, which would have arrived a week later, and up until that point, maybe I would have thought my friend was dead. Oh, they didn't turn up when they said. They must be dead. Recently, I'm on a rocking chair, yes. A big problem is with compartmentalization. And this affects all industries, right? Netflix, you can pay for anything you want to watch as long as Netflix has it. And if you don't want to watch the things on Netflix, you want to watch something else, maybe Amazon have it, you can pay Amazon. Or Amazon Prime, you can pay for anything you want to watch as long as Amazon has it. And if neither of them has it, maybe you pay for Disney Plus. All brilliant. Or maybe it's on iPlayer. I hate this, like, funneling, you know, all these different things. DVDs, CDs, books, you just use them wherever you can use them. Video games were really the first thing in my lifetime that had this compartmentalization. I always hated it. It really annoyed me how I had to buy different consoles to play different games. And I thought the general trend was going to be that things would end up merging and being cross-compatible, not that everything would become even more niche and compartmentalized. This also now extends to communication, you know. The post is just the post. I can write anyone a letter. Imagine if Royal Mail started charging a subscription for your address to be in their system, and then you could only mail people that were on the system. Oh, don't give them ideas. Email, the same, like different providers, different email addresses, but all emails are compatible with each other. You can email anyone, but the popular communication is so niche now, there are so many different ways of talking, that when I went to Australia, I met a guy out there called Mitch, who I became really good friends with, and as I was leaving, I said, oh, we should really stay in touch. And he went, yeah, what's your WhatsApp? And I said, I haven't got WhatsApp, because all texts are free now, and I don't want Facebook to harvest my data, so I don't have WhatsApp. I don't just say I don't want to use WhatsApp and download Signal, but then just carry on using WhatsApp, like Danny told me his friends did. I went, have you got an iPhone? Because I have an iPhone, we can text each other for free, worldwide. He went, no, I've got Android phone. Okay then. Twitter? No, I haven't got any social media. I haven't got Facebook or Twitter or anything. Okay. I said, oh, I can email you, give me your email address. He went, I'm not going to check. How often am I going to check my email? It's just, you know, order confirmations and reminders for shit. It doesn't matter to me. Okay then, so we're not going to be friends after this, is what is the conclusion that we reached. Alright, well, we left, and that was the end of it. I don't get to speak to Mitch anymore because our forms of conversation were just incompatible. And I find this with everybody. Everyone has their, like, one or two ways that they can always be reached urgently. Some people, it's ringing them. Some people are never going to answer a phone, but they will always respond to Snapchat. Some people will always respond to WhatsApp. Some people will always respond to Instagram. Some people will always respond to Twitter. Me, I like emails and, to a lesser extent, text messages. Everyone has to find, like, the method that they have in common that they will both check reasonably quickly. The amount of people that I send texts to and I get replies months later going, oh, sorry, I saw I had a new text, I just assumed it was from my doctor. It's a Domino's Pizza discount code. I don't need to read that right now. And that's a step backwards. That's the internet making it harder for people to communicate because everything's so fragmented now. One of my best friends, Scarlett, we always have the same method of communication, we just text each other. Just standard texting. The last time I spoke to her, she was moving into a new house and I was really excited for her and, you know, we were catching up on a bunch of things and then Didn't hear from her for a while, and I thought, okay, well that's fine, she's busy. But it felt like an unusually long time that I'd not heard from her, and I definitely felt that. I know she's on this Patreon, so every now and then I'd see her commenting on videos and things. So okay, well she's still there, you know, she's not mad at me or anything. So I kind of assumed everything was fine. In fact, the last time we spoke, we were talking about that because she had just used like a temporary phone, and so her number came up as an unknown number. She had to like swap her SIM card into her sort of backup old phone while she was waiting for a new phone to arrive. Anyway. Haven't really spoken since then, wasn't concerned about it, but felt a little bit weird that she sort of wasn't in my life. Then, Georgia gets a message from Scarlett, gets a text. Do you know what's up with Alex? He hasn't replied to any of my messages for the last couple of months, and I'm really worried about him. I said, tell Scarlett that she hasn't replied to any of my messages for the last couple of months, and I haven't heard anything from her, and I'd love to speak to her. Then I send her a text saying, are you reading this? And she doesn't reply to that either. Are we in like parallel dimensions and we just come slightly out of sync with each other? Like when the planets align again, we will be back in the same universe. Georgia is in the, you know, Venn diagram of both of us, so maybe I can communicate with Scarlett via Georgia's device. I end up ringing her on my phone. Scarlett picks up. First thing she hears is me go, it worked! Because I really wasn't sure if I'd be able to contact her in the other dimension that she's in. Oh, it's so nice to hear from you. Yeah, it's so nice to hear from you. You texted me yesterday saying, are you reading me? I replied straight away. I was so thrilled to hear from you. No, you didn't. I didn't get a reply from you. I haven't spoken to you, actually, since you used your backup phone. If you have an iPhone and you text someone who also has an iPhone, the bubbles, text message bubbles, come up in blue. And if not, they come up in green. For a week or so, I was texting Scarlett in blue, and I was like, oh, have you got an iPhone? This is very exciting. You're in blue now. No, just the backup phone. And then I'm going back to my first love, Android. She got her new Android phone. Didn't deactivate iMessage first on the iPhone. All Apple knows is that this is an iMessage number, but the SIM card is not there at the moment, or whatever. So I'm texting Scarlett. Apple is sending it via iMessage, which is different from just sending it as a text. But because Scarlett isn't receiving messages as iMessage, because she's now on Android, they don't come through. Finally, she managed to fix it. She managed to go online and deregister iMessage. And then when I sent her a message saying, are you reading me? That was like the first message she'd heard from me. Like, yes, I fixed it. It works. Text me back. And I said, no, I didn't get your message back. It hadn't occurred to Scarlett that I wasn't getting her messages either. She just thought that maybe she wasn't getting mine. We try and figure out why this is, and we can't come up with anything short of, I'm like, when I'm next allowed to see you, we just need to put our phones together, send texts back and forth, just see what happens, just figure it out. And she says, oh, this is so weird. I'm worried that maybe other people aren't getting my messages either, because maybe I'm sending them as iMessage. And also, I've just installed Signal. And I went, I'll stop you there. I think I know what the problem is. Danny downloaded Signal because loads of his friends said they were going to delete WhatsApp for privacy reasons, and they were going to install Signal. And then none of them did. I also had friends that said they were going to delete WhatsApp and install Signal. I like Signal because it's not owned by Facebook. I get the value in it, and for texting people that don't have iPhones, it's useful for me to have a thing like that. So I downloaded Signal, but then like Danny, none of my friends actually used it, so I deleted Signal again. So Scarlett, when she texts me, and she set her phone to default to texting through Signal. So Signal, when she sends a text to me, recognises, oh, Alex has Signal, we'll send this message through Signal, which is different from standard texting. But because I deleted the app, I never received it. So here's what's been happening. For the last 2 months, I've been texting Scarlett, accidentally using iMessage, which she deactivated, and she's been texting me accidentally through Signal, which I deactivated. And so neither of us have been able to communicate with each other for the last 2 months. And yet, all these people were saying to me, oh, isn't the internet amazing for how it facilitates communication? No, the next time you read an article in a newspaper or something saying, oh, young people are finding it hard to communicate, bear in mind that it might not be for lack of trying.